Arne, what steps do you feel you've taken in the past week with 4 points from a couple of games just to start turning things around?
No, the first thing you said in your question, 4 points out of 2 games, is different than the last 2 home games we've played, which we've both lost and conceded 7 goals. And in the last 2 games, we were 1 deflection away from keeping 2 clean sheets. I said against West Ham, the good thing for us was that they didn't score their one and only chance, and the same thing happened again in this game. They did not score the only chance they had, and you're looking at me, but they did score, yeah, but that for me was not a chance. The only chance they had was after 93 minutes when they went 1-on-1 to the goalkeeper. So that's a step forward if you compare that to 7 goals conceded in 2 games. We did not concede a set piece in both games, which is also important. As a result of that, maybe we got 2 results. And I think there are also positives to take from the players we've brought in during the summer, that I see they are getting more and more consistent in their performances. Florian is maybe the most obvious one, but I see the same with Milos Kerkez as well. Alex scored his first goal a game ago. So yeah, there are positives to take, but of course still not where we want to be. Let that be obvious and clear. But there are also, compared to where we were after the last 2 losses with 3-0 and 4-1, there are also things that we've done better.
Probably expected that with Mo being benched for 2 games, you would expect a lot of chat about him. But I'm going to put it a different way. The fact that you turned to Mo at half-time against Sunderland, how much of an indication is that of a return to the starting lineup maybe this weekend, rather than 2 consecutive games on the bench being an indication that his game time could become more limited when he's obviously not away at AFCON?
No, but I think for every player is in my mind to start a game of football, because we have so many good players, and Mo has been such an exceptional player for us. So he's always, I don't know which word you use, but he's always in my mind to either start or to come in.
Can you understand all the chat around him though?
Yeah. Of course, that's maybe he even deserves that, because he's been so influential for this club and for me and for his teammates for 6 or 7 years, I think already. So yeah, it's completely normal if I don't play players that just came to the club. We're already talking about it, so then it's completely normal that people talk about it when he isn't playing.
You face against Leeds, obviously we've seen them cause Manchester City problems. They've beaten Chelsea in the past week. What do you make therefore, and how problematic is it their change of tactics, because they seem to have gone 3-5-2 or at times 5-3-2?
Yeah. No, yesterday I looked Leeds Chelsea, and I thought I saw a Liverpool game. Chelsea conceding a set piece, and for the third goal making a big error where they conceded a goal from. Very difficult for them, because either Leeds went very aggressive to 1v1, or they went to a low block, and it was really hard to create chances. So yeah, it is not only difficult for us, that playing style, it's difficult for many teams, including us. So yeah, what we expect is what we've seen in the second half against City, when they were 2-0 down, coming back to 2-2. Eventually, Foden made the difference with a moment of magic for City, and against Chelsea they were really strong. Played a very good game, really aggressive, a lot of long balls as well from their goalkeeper. So we know what to expect, but what to expect is probably what we've faced. Not all of the games, maybe with the exception of 2.
Morning. Are you expecting it to be quite a physical test in what is probably going to be quite a hostile stadium at Elland Road?
Yeah, we do. But I think every Premier League game is a physical test, especially the way teams play against us. But not only that, it's also the best athletes in the world play in the Premier League. So yeah, every game you play is a physical test, let alone an away game with indeed as I know, and you probably even know better than me, the fans that are a big support for them as well.
Despite the difficulties you had this season, you're 2 points off the top 4. I just wonder, is that now the main aim in the Premier League, to make sure you're going to be in that top 4?
For me, that tells how good the Premier League is this season, and as it already was last season, but it gets better and better and better every single season for obvious reasons, because everybody has so much money, and that tells you indeed how close the margins still are. But it's definitely our first aim to come back to top 4, because we're obviously not happy with the position we are in at the moment.
I just wondered how close Federico Chiesa is to maybe starting a few more games for Liverpool. Looked like being cameos and made obviously a key contribution in the last game. Not at the end of the pitch you'd expect though.
Cameo? What is that kind of?
Sorry, appearances from the bench.
Ah, okay. I learned something then today. As I just said, every player has a possibility to start, but we have many options to start in his position, as I said so many times before. But he's indeed having his impact coming off the bench a few times. So normally you bring a striker in to score a goal, but he in this situation kept on running in a moment where a player could also feel, I don't think it's I can do a lot anymore, because he's going to go 1v1. So it tells you also the mentality he has not to concede, and that's a good thing, because that's what not only defenders should have, that's also what attackers should have.
And where is Florian Wirtz's confidence at the moment? Obviously made a vital contribution to the goal the other night, but still doesn't have a goal to his name yet.
No, but if you can only have confidence if you score goals, that would be the wrong thing. I think you can see where his confidence at if you look at the last 2 games, how many times he wants the ball and how many times his teammates play him the ball. And that is something that tells me how much confidence he has at the moment. But it's also clear that he came back with an injury with Germany. And so I'm already very happy that he is able to play so many minutes in his first 2 games after he came back from an injury. But he's done well. Like I said, I wasn't surprised that he was involved in the goal we scored against the Sunderland, because he was one of the players, not the only one of the players who kept constantly trying and was creative.
Thank you.
Hi, Arne. Can I just check on team news? Do you expect Conor Bradley to be back involved? And did everyone get through the Sunderland game okay?
Yeah, they did. Joe Gomez got a knock in the West Ham game, but was still able to start. But he couldn't make the full 90 minutes. But I think he will be able to train again today. So yesterday was a recovery day for most of them. Today we will train again, and let's see where they are. But Conor Bradley has trained this week, so I expect him to train today, and then he is available to be in the squad tomorrow.
Hi Arne, I wanted to ask you about Cody Gakpo. I mean, if you think back to last season, when he was at his best, he was in a fierce battle for his place with Luis Diaz, and even when they lined up together, there was the chance that one of the other strikers would come on and Luis Diaz would go out to the left. I think if you look in Premier League and Champions League last season, Cody played the full 90 only 6 times, whereas already this season he's played 10 times. We haven't seen a lot of Rio and Gamora in recent weeks in those competitions, and we haven't seen Hugo Ekitike tried off the left, as we've heard that may well be an option. Do you think Cody's maybe suffering a little bit from not having that razor-sharp competition for his starting place?
Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Because you can also look at it in a way, if a player plays a lot, this gives him consistency, self-confidence. Usually, if I talk to players that I don't play every single time, it's mostly their answer is, yeah, but I need to play every single minute. That gives me more confidence and I can bring the most out of myself. And now you say the opposite. So the reason why I haven't tried Hugo a lot of times off the left is an obvious one, because because of the Alexander Isak situation, that he's either not been available or not been available to start every single game. And Rio has had his minutes, but I think for a 17-year-old, he's already had much more minutes than any other 17-year-old at any other club in the Premier League. So that's positive for him, and I think I don't think Cody suffers from the fact that he doesn't have competition, because there are players that can play in his position. And usually, like I just said, players prefer to have a situation where they have the confidence and the understanding that they might play many minutes.
Hi Arne, this is Florian from the Hungarian sports media. I would like to ask you about Dominik. You said before that he's more of a midfielder than a winger or a right back, but he plays for multiple roles. How do you plan to maximize his influence in the central area against Leeds? Will he play in the central area?
In the long term, he will play in the central area. Yeah, that's for sure. Maybe also in the midterm, and maybe even tomorrow. But he is one of the few players that can play in multiple positions. And unfortunately for us, we've had injuries in certain positions. Not one, but then to both fullbacks are injured for a long time, for a few weeks already. So and in the start of the season as well. So that's why I used him in different positions, and he did well, by the way, in every position he played in. In the last two games, he's been very important for the team in the role he had, because, like I just said, he's part of a team that only conceded. There was only one deflection away from 2 clean sheets, and he had a free role off the right. So still, he's a lot of times in the middle. I think if you look at his positioning in the first half compared to the second half against Sunderland, I think a heat map will show that he was 9 out of 10 times in the same position in the first half as he was in the second half. Or in the second half he played as a midfielder, and the first half he played as an inverted winger. So yeah, we can use him in every position, but for the mid and long term, and maybe even for the short term, we will use him in the middle. If we have no injuries, that I have to include to it.
Hi Arne. After scoring his first Premier League goal, Alexander Isak, it was a bit of frustrating night for him. The other night didn't have too many chances. How do you get the best out of him consistently? How do you get him those chances, especially when teams are playing low and hard to break down?
I think he's not the only one, number 9, that suffers in some games from not getting as many chances. I watched the second half till now from Leeds against City, and I watched the whole game against Chelsea. And it's not like at this level the number 9 is involved in 8, 9, 10 chances every single half. So, but it's obvious and clear to me that we as a team want to bring him more often in threatening situations. Before we went to only 1 goal conceded in 2 games, we had a lot of chances. The last 2 games, as a result, because we were a little bit more compact and maybe take a little bit less risk, we haven't been able to create that many chances as we did all the games before. So it's definitely one of the things on my list of things to improve, is getting our number 9 more involved in the game, let alone more involved in the final third.
I think it's average 14 touches in this past 3 starts. Is that something that you want to, is that ideal for you, or do you want?
No, it's not ideal for me, no. But do you know how much he had at Newcastle on average? No, 22. So in this league, strikers don't touch the ball that much, but the few times they do touch it, it's quite nice if they then finish it off. I have no clue what the stats of Haaland are, but I wouldn't be surprised. I have no clue if he maybe doesn't touch it 100 times a game, but he does score a lot. So it's more important for them to touch the ball in the right time than to touch it so many times. And we have to make sure, because that's a complete difference between Haaland and Alex, that Haaland touches it much more in moments where it matters. And there we have to improve. That's clear and obvious. We and he as well.
well. Arne, to just ask you about Harvey Elliott's situation. He's not featured in the last few months at Aston Villa. Have you had any contact with him? Has there been any discussions at all about him potentially coming back to the club and that arrangement being kind of shelved?
No, I haven't had contact with him a lot. I think only once or twice, and that was before he played Feyenoord away, and after he played Feyenoord away. But that had nothing to do with that had more to do that he played against a former club of mine. So no, I haven't spoken to him. I am aware of his situation, of course. I knew how difficult it already was for him over here, so I think I know how he feels at this moment, but yeah, you should ask those questions at Villa and not over here when it's about his playing time over there.